All right, what up, everybody? Happy whatever today is. Let's go with assignment 3H. Again, I believe that this is the last assignment itself of the unit, not including the review. So this is, in essence, review. We should know how to do all of this stuff by now. We've been doing it for a bit. So let's go ahead and get this party started. We begin with weighted averages. Again, so for the weighted averages, to get our weighted average, we multiply the score with the weight. Score with the weight. So the weighted average is the grade that we are going to be getting. So this is Kevion's grade. Okay, so in Kevion's grade, we multiply the scores with the weights. So in his homework, he has 8462 with the weight. The tests, he's got a 25%, oh, gravy, with a weight of 70%. And then he has not taken the final, so I am not going to add any more categories. So with that, I divide by just the weights. So the homework was worth 10% and the tests were worth 70%. I get a complete answer to the top, a complete answer to the bottom, and then I divide the two. So the numerator, 8462 times 0.10 plus 0.25 times 0.70. Oh, gravy. Not looking too good, but that's not the final answer just yet. It'll get a little bit better than that. 2596 approximately divided by 0.8. So again, I'm going to use the answer, I'm not going to enter the decimal, and divide by 0.8. So Kevion currently has a 32% in class. Oh, great googly moogly. It's not looking too good. Is it possible for Kevion to pass? I don't know. We have to do question C before we're able to answer question B. Question C is what would happen if you would get a 100% on the final? What is his best possible grade for if he got 100%? So we are going to do the exact same thing that we did in question A. However, we're adding one more category of a 100% final that is worth 20% of his grade. So 20% of his grade. So his grade in this time is we have the homework worth 10%. The tests and the final. And so he's going to get a 100%, and the weight of that final is 20% of his grade. Divided by just the weights. Uh-oh. So the best case scenario, Kevion's going to get a 45%. So is it possible for Kevion to pass? No, it is not possible. But hypothetically, let's kind of live in a dream world and figure out, well, what would have to happen if he were to take the final and things like that for Kevion to pass. Again, these are just going to be make-believe numbers. All right, so for Kevion to pass, his grade is going to have to be 60%. And what this question is asking is, I don't know what I'm getting on that final. So that's going to be an X, in essence, in that situation. So that is what we are going to do. So let's go ahead and figure this out. All right, so this is a scenario where my final grade is going to be 60%. So my answer is going to be 60%. And I am I'm doing my homework, which I have an 84%, my tests, in which I have a 25%, and then I don't know what I'm getting on the final, which is worth 20% of the final grade. All right, so I am going to kind of consolidate these numbers a little bit. I'm going to make my equation a little bit smaller. There we go. So I'm going to put the numbers together up there. So this is going to be 0.60 is equal to. So I'm putting the 8462 times 0.10 with 0.25 times 0.70. So that's 2596 plus 0.20x all over 1. To solve this, I multiply out the denominator, subtract the constant, and divide by the coefficient. So 0.60, I multiply by 1, I subtract 0.2596, and I divide by 0.20, and that leaves me with x is equal to 1.702. So what that is implying is like thinking of that as a number. What does Kevion actually have to get on the final? He has to get 170%. So think about like moving that decimal 2 places. He has to get 170% out of the final, which is obviously a not realistic number. Okay. He has to get 170%. That's what that means. All right, so next one is if there's 80 questions, how many does he have to get correct? Well, he has to get 170.2% of 80 questions. So how many does he have to get correct out of 80? He has to get 136 out of 80, which again is a make-believe number. It can't happen. There's 80, the best you can do is 80, but he has to get 136 right out of 80. Pass. Oh, heavy on. It's hard work right there, kid. Getting that low of a grade. All right, weighted average. Variance, standard deviation, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The best way to accomplish these is to know the formulas. So the variance is the sum of x minus x bar, whole squared closed, divided by n minus 1. Again, write these on a formula sheet or something so you can have quick access to these things. S is equal to the square root of s squared. Coefficient of variation is equal to s divided by x bar times 100. And a 93.8 Chevy Chev is let me write it over here. A 93.8% of a Chevy Chev implies that it's going to be x bar plus and minus 4 standard deviations. All right. To make this thing go, x is the list itself. X bar is the average, and then n is the number of numbers. So what I can do is I can quickly take a look here, and I see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. There's 20 numbers. Now I have to work towards that average. And so what I'm going to do is I am going to use my calculator, go to my stats, clean out anything that is there, and enter my numbers. All right, so I have all those numbers entered. Take a quick glance through, just make sure that they're all like 3-digit numbers and looking somewhat reasonable. Okay, so I have all of those numbers in there. So I go to my main calculator and I'm looking for my X bar, which again is my average. So I add them up. And I divide by the number of numbers. Now I can go ahead right into my calculation, and it's pretty much just turning this into calculator speak to get these answers. So for instance, this numerator is going to be the sum, open parentheses, x, which is list 1, minus x bar, which is 201.3, closed parentheses, squared, closed parentheses. So sum, open, x minus x bar, close, squared, close. Okay, so my numerator is 12310.2. My denominator is n minus 1, so that's 19. And so I take that answer that I have in my calculator and divide that by 19. The standard deviation is going to be the square root of s squared. So s squared is that 640 whatever number. So this is what I'm taking the square root of. And that is s squared, so this is the square root of s squared. Again, I am not actually typing that number in. I'm just going to type answer from my calculator. So this is the square root of my answer. That's where a little bit of the rounding is weird to that fourth decimal. I'll type this out, and so 25.45398. Again, we round to the fourth decimal, so the fourth decimal is that 9 right there. So typically, untouchable numbers are these 4s, 5s, and 3s, and those are typically untouchable. Don't mess with those numbers. Typically, they're untouchable. But when I try to round in this case, I look at the number beyond my fourth decimal, which is 8. That means I need to round this number 9. So the number bigger than 9 is a 10. So this is a 0, and I carry a 1. And thus that 3 is now going to be a 4. So that is like one of the only times that the untouchables are touchable, is if you round onto a 9. Okay, coefficient of variation. Coefficient of variation. So this is going to be S, which is 25.4540, divided by X bar, which is 201.3 times 100. Again, I am not actually typing 25 blah, blah, blah. I'm going to use answer as a substitute. That is the answer in my calculator. So shift answer divided by 201.3 times 100. Now we're talking about Chevy Chev and the 93.8. So I take the average, which is at 201.3, and I'm adding and subtracting 4 standard deviations. Again, standard deviation was the answer to B, and that was 25.4540. That will give me my interval. So this is 201.3 minus 4 standard deviations from 5.454 zeros. All right, so the minus puts me down to 99.4840. So that was the minus answer, and then the plus answer is the 201.3 plus 4 standard deviations. That puts me up to 303. So what is the interval? That will be 93%. That's 99 to 303.